Hello and welcome to the I Love You But podcast. I'm Heather and this is my sister.
Ryan. Each week, we will revisit relics of our childhoods using our multiple master's degrees
to critically evaluate the crap that consumed our misspent youth. So join us.
Sisters, latchkey kids, cuspers, and lazy feminists as we look back on our past to say, I love you, but.
Hey, Ryan Davis, what'd you waste time on this week?
I had a very productive week, but I would say the thing I wasted time on this week was going to a meeting to talk about how to improve our meetings for next year.
Sounds like you need an efficiency expert.
So yeah, we had an hour-long meeting about how to improve these meetings, this weekly meeting that we have for next year. The pros and cons, how things went this year, and how to improve next year. So I thought you would enjoy that one. So
is this your previously mentioned drug business? Did they do the pod and recognize that something needed to change?
Yes, it's my side drug hustle.
Well,
a lot of meetings.
I'm sorry.
Yeah. In shop shops. We have meetings in shop shops with bad coffee, and we write our notes on Playboy magazines.
That's right. That's the way it works. Yeah. That's fine. This week,
how'd you waste time?
I got drawn into the re-envisioning of Dead Ringers with Rachel Weisz. And the whole time I watch it, it's about twin sisters.
Okay.
The whole time I'm watching it, I'm like, Ryan would hate this so much. Ryan would hate this so much. All I can think about is how much you would hate it.
Well, I appreciate you letting me know.
But I do think that it would be, second best to the Miracle of Life for desensitizing people to the realities of having lady parts, because it is very brutally honest about that.
Yeah.
Which, again, I appreciate. You never know who's lying on the show. We were all impressed with Hayley Mills in The Parent Trap. Let me tell you, Rachel Weisz playing two versions of herself it's outstanding. Like, to just think that she's standing there talking to no one, but she's talking to herself, and it's so good. And every single episode ends with a super dark love song from the 80s.
Oh, nice.
Like Tainted Love and Don't You Want Me, and I can't remember the other ones, but every one I'm like, oh man, we grew up with some like very twisted notions of romantic love in our pop music.
Was Don't You Want Me a dark love song?
I mean, it's maybe give it another listen with the
apparently I do. I don't know, because it's one of Jimmy Fallon's favorites. He loves that. To karaoke that shit. And dance around like a doofy white man.
That's right. That's what he does.
I was going to say, speaking of lady parts, yesterday we were getting out of the car and I had to go to the bathroom really bad, and Elliot was taking 8 million years to get out of the car and stare at himself, like looking at his boogers in his mirror and all this stuff. I was like, dude, I cannot pee outside. He's like, why not? I said, because I don't have a penis. So I have to go and pee inside. He said, why don't you have a penis? Because I was born with a vagina and I chose to keep it.
There you go.
And then he said, I wish you had been born with a penis. I said, well, then you wouldn't be here.
Good point.
Now, let's go inside before I wet myself. Children, very inefficient.
Ludicrously inefficient, it's true. Ryan Davis, what do you remember about Desk Set from 1957?
I remembered nothing and wasn't even sure. I was like Spencer Tracy, Katharine Hepburn, question mark. But then, so like, yeah, I didn't really remember anything just thinking about it. And then when I like saw the icon come up on the Prime Video to watch it, I was like, oh yeah, this one, I've seen this.
Oh, okay.
And then I remembered like computer taking over, and then I remember Dasher, Dancer, Prancer, Vixen, Comet, Cupid, Donner, Blitzen, which we'll talk about. Card catalogs.
You remember card catalogs? Cool.
Yeah. What did you remember about the 1957?
I remembered it was a Tracy Hepburn film. I remember snappy dialogue. I remember naming Santa's reindeers. Beautiful silhouettes in the clothing, just gorgeous. I remember a big computer, and I thought it was in black and white. And since this is a special Mother's Day episode, we watched Dusk Set from 1957 because it is a movie we watched more than once as children because it was one of Mom's faves. She also thought it was made in black and white, but I assured her that possibly she only ever saw it on television and they were black and white televisions. So maybe that's why she thought it was black and white. We have no excuse. She said she remembered being impressed by how smart Katharine Hepburn's character was. So there you go with that.
She was quite smart. That's all she remembered?
Well, I mean, she said that like at the end, like as a wrap-up comment. You know how you do.
Did she insert her like Hollywood knowledge about like Spencer and Hepburn's?
No, really only one comment came up and she and I both made it at the same time. We can cover that in a little bit.
Oh, okay, cool.
We'll give how about a quick little synopsis of this and some of the main characters. Although I can warn everyone, we're just going to call them Katharine Hepburn and Spencer Tracy. That's just all that's going to happen.
We're not going to call them Buddy.
Not if we Not if we don't have to. Dusk Set takes place at a television studio at 30 Rockefeller. 30 Rock. I was excited to see that.
A Federal Broadcasting Company.
Yes, and it features Katharine Hepburn as the head of the research department. So imagine that you're a TV writer and you're like, oh, dang, how many people live in Brazil? But it's 1957. So you can't Google it, but you got to keep doing your work. Why are you making that face?
I thought it was just people from around the country calling in with questions. Every time. Because I wrote down, did this actually exist and did people have to pay for this service? I never.
They were the research department for the network.
I didn't put that together. I thought this was just random people calling from all over the country, like how you used to be able to call time and temperature.
Or the Butterball hotline.
Like a literal Google hotline. Like basically like I have a question and then you just call them and they answer it.
Nope.
Wow. Okay. I just did not make that connection.
Good. We're learning. So it's 1957-ish, and you need to know how many people live in Brazil or whatever I said. You can't Google it. It's not a thing. And it's inefficient to run to the library every 5 minutes when you're trying to write a comedy and you're like, how can I kill people like this? Or what happens when you die? Or how tall is the Eiffel Tower? Whatever the thing is. So they had a research department, and so people would call them, and there are 4 women who work in the research department, and they report to a man, Mike Cutler, who basically does nothing. and
becomes vice president.
And then gets promoted up for being a white man. And the whole thing kicks off because here arrives Spencer Tracy's character, Richard Sumner, who's an efficiency expert, although he calls himself something else.
I wrote it down.
Oh, she wrote it down.
Because she's like, are you an efficiency expert? Methods engineer.
He's a methods engineer.
Yes.
So he's trying to make the broadcast network more efficient by introducing machines in place of some of the humans, or to support the effort of some of the
electronic brains.
Oh, sorry,
Computers.
electronic brains. Computers, yes. And so, as you might imagine, the women who work in research are a little bit wary of him. We find out there's this sort of subplot where Bunny Watson, Katharine Hepburn's character, is pining for her stupid boss, Mike Cutler.
No, they've been dating. No, you're misrepresenting that. Pining makes it seem like unrequited. They've been in a relationship for 7 years.
Do you think that they both cared for each other the same amount and had the same goals in those 7
I
years?
don't think either. I think they had this. I don't think she actually cared for him. I think she was just 7 years in.
I argue that very strongly, and we can get into that. Anyway, basically, he comes in, he hangs around, they get nervous, the machine shows up, hijinks ensue, and spoiler, Spencer Tracy and Katharine Hepburn end up together at the end. And apparently, we're going to let Ryan go because she has some saucy thoughts on Desk Set.
I don't have saucy thoughts. I just don't want you to. Maybe because it's Katharine Hepburn. I don't want you to. I just don't. Katharine Hepburn never pined for. Well, I guess she pined for Spencer Tracy.
She did not pine for Spencer Tracy.
I thought she did.
No, it was a whole studio cover up.
Oh.
Because she was a lesbian.
I thought. Oh.
And so it was easier to sell a story of unrequited love, or like unfulfilled love.
Like he can't get divorced because he's Catholic,
so he can't get divorced, and they love each other, and that's why she never is with men ever. That's why, not because she's a lesbian, but Katharine Hepburn was a lesbian.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay.
Whatever. Yeah, I wrote down icon queen, so she can't pine for somebody. So yeah, so she never pined for anybody. Like that shit.
Okay.
Sorry. Go ahead. You can start. It's fine.
I was confused why Amazon showed that this was rated 13 plus. Like, I don't.
Smoking?
Maybe.
Drinking?
Maybe. I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, it seemed very like not. I'm like, it was made in the studio era. There's nothing bad in it. Like that's the whole point of the studio era.
It's got to be the smoking and the drinking. I mean, those are the only potentially bad things in there. Because even Disney now, like, will be like, smoking has like.
Oh no, that's a whole new. Yeah, that's a new regulation or whatever.
Racism, which this did not have that warning, even though there was some moments. But that's
of course there was. It was warned. It said we made this movie in the 50s. Did you notice that Nora Ephron's parents wrote the film?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, it was written by a married couple, and they are Nora Ephron's parents.
Oh,
so
is
she's
Nora
legit.
Ephron related to Zac Efron, or is that just a coincidence?
No.
Okay,
I don't think so. Prove me wrong. And
I like how when he busted out his tape measure, that one woman was like 35, 24, 35, like assuming he was gonna just take her measurements. Like, why are you that used to having your measurements taken?
I mean, it was the 50s.
I know. Yes, the girls in research.
Yes, the girls in research. I wondered at the beginning if I was Mr. Sumner because he told that woman to move her desk around, that because she was left-handed, it was facing the wrong way. The light was all wrong and whatever. And I was like, oh, no.
Yeah. He's a methods person. That's
like something engineer. I would do.
Yeah, for me, it's just this whole movie's all about the costumes.
The costumes were amazing. I did look
absolutely
up
amazing.
The costume designer. Did you look him up?
Nope, I didn't look anything up.
Okay, good job. This is a real fun episode.
What? Do I ever look anything up?
Yep. So Charles Lemaire, and he won 3 Academy Awards for costumes, and 3 of those. One of those was All About Eve, but he also was the costume master for Gentlemen Prefer Blondes and An Affair to Remember, which reminded me to add An Affair to Remember to our list of things to talk about someday.
Oh, yeah. Another Mother's Day episode.
Yes, perhaps. Mom got really excited when Joan Blondell came on screen. She was like super excited. So that was kind of like her bestie, the older woman.
Peg.
Peg, the one who wasn't rail thin,
Yeah.
And Mom said that she really liked that first jacket that Katharine Hepburn was wearing. I had some jealousy of the CEO's office because it was very
Oh my God, I
mid-century
know.
modern, except, of
Yes.
course,
For the grand piano?
for the very conspicuous statue of, I'll use the term of the day, a native. That
Oh
was,
shit, I missed that.
yeah.
I was trying to figure out what was in that like back far corner by the windows. There was like some brick and something. I don't know. Something was happening.
Yeah,
So
there was a lot to look at in his office, which was good
yeah.
because it was such a like by rote scene that I was real bored. It's like, all right, two old white dudes talking to each other. Let's go. Yeah, at one point, Katharine Hepburn says to uh, Jean Blondell or Joan Blondell, "I like men, and so do you." Mom and I both started laughing. I was like, "Yeah, not so much, not so much, Kate. No, no, no." So here is the reaction that I had when Bunny, Katharine Hepburn's character, was talking about whether or not Mike was going to ask her to go to this dance, and
Yes.
was she bought a new dress for it, and would he ask her, and all this stuff. And I said, oh Lord, why is she so excited about a man? She is a smart, capable woman with great taste in clothing.
Fair. That green dress was amazing though.
Yeah, be excited about the dress.
Yeah.
I would say
Go to
that's
the dance.
really the only thing wrong with this movie is just
Yeah.
it almost doesn't pass the Bechdel test despite having four
Four women working
prominent
together.
female characters. Yes. Because basically they talk about men,
Yeah. Clothing.
clothing, going on breaks, and then toward the end when their jobs are threatened, they talk about their jobs a little bit. But
Yeah.
that's it. So that was very frustrating to me. But I mean, it was the time, so I guess whatever.
Also, yeah, so when Spencer Tracy takes her up to the roof
Yes.
and like is basically giving her this intelligence test, his version of an intelligence test, and he's like getting mad because she's smart.
Yes.
Like, did you
While
like
he's forcing her to sit in the freezing cold when she's visibly very cold.
Yeah. And he fucking packaged sandwiches and olives and celery. Like,
He
what
didn't even
the?
ask her what kind of sandwich she wanted. He just brought some
No.
sandwiches.
Yeah.
What
And
if
then
she
has
was
like
gluten
all,
free? Huh? Huh?
yeah. She was gluten free.
What if she was a vegan? They had those in the 50s, right? That was a thing.
No.
Before we move on to I believe there's a couple of things to talk about on that rooftop scene, but I would first like to mention that the very old lady who wanders around and never says anything is an absolute delight.
Yes.
Loved her.
It's just like take shit.
Yes.
Yes.
So there was a little bit of the feminist of like, she was the young, beautiful inspiration for everything. And now she's just this little old lady that wanders around taking shit.
I love it.
Excellent. Excellent. On the roof, Mom really liked the touch of Katharine Hepburn putting down the paper bag before she sat in her beautiful coat on that,
Chair.
raggedy ass metal chair. And the celery and olives were funny because right before that he said, I'm going to give you a math question, and then he offered celery and olives and she counted them.
Yes.
He also called it a personality quiz. It was not a personality quiz.
That was not a personality quiz. That was an intelligence quiz.
Yep.
That I would have failed.
He also looked very smug in that scene in ways. Yeah. I know he was also surprised by her intelligence, but I saw some smugness. The next thing I have is kind of, there's the little farce that happens where it's raining really hard and Spencer Tracy ends up going home with her and they have dinner. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, hold on. Before that, carnations, really? Like, the dude brought her a bunch of carnations. Like, was there a time when carnations were, like, an acceptable flower to give someone?
I don't think so. He brought roses at the end, so I think
He
he
did bring
knew.
too little, too late, motherfucker. Too little, too late.
Of him, I
Uh,
said, what a boring fuck boy. Like, if you're gonna
yes,
have a fuck boy, at least have him be charming or very cute or
I mean,
something.
he's all
Like,
right. He was all right looking.
he
He
was
was
all right.
handsome. Yeah.
He was all right. 7 years of her life. No, thank you.
I did just look up what a floating island is that they were
It's
eating.
it's
So
baked Alaska, right?
no, baked Alaska is completely different.
Oh, it is.
Yeah, baked Alaska is like ice cream with meringue on the outside. It's like and there's like a cake element.
Oh,
No, floating island is like a meringue in a bowl of like cream anglaise.
oh, well, that sounds good. I'm pretty sure I've seen that on British Baking Show.
British baking show. I thought so too. I just couldn't remember what it was. So
Did you enjoy it when she was at the office and got let down, but had all her luggage with her?
slept it all back in the rain.
Her old school luggage. She had like 15 hats in there, for the weekend.
Oh yeah, all that luggage. Three things of weekend luggage.
I will say mom got very animated during the dinner scene. She enjoyed that quite a bit.
It was fun. It was
It,
fun.
it was fun. My favorite part of that whole scene was Mike, the fuck boy, was so angry, but he was drinking coffee out of that little tiny cup. He was like, I'm mad. Sip.
I like when she told him to shut up.
Oh yeah, no, she got him good.
Yeah.
Like, thank God. That was not.
I didn't think anyone would be here.
Yeah.
But it's like one of those where if he did think like if he wasn't surprised, then she'd be mad about that, so whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
And why did Peg show up? What the fuck was Peg doing there?
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. Like Peg was like, "Oh, I'm just gonna come check on you or whatever," but I think we know what Peg was doing there. I wondered why we don't watch this movie at Christmas time. Christmas is such a huge part of the movie.
Yes. I was gonna say I have a question. Is this a Christmas movie?
I mean,
is this not?
It's supposed to be. The movie doesn't make sense if you take Christmas out, right? I think that's the sort of standard definition.
There's no official. If the fact that it's Christmas is integral to the plot of the movie, like if you couldn't make this movie at any other point in time,
right,
other than Christmas, without the whole plot falling apart, then it is a Christmas movie,
right?
Which is why, and people are going to get mad at me for this, Die Hard is not a Christmas movie.
According to your parameters, correct. That is true. But I think if we use Die Hard's parameters, then Desk Set is definitely a Christmas movie. Also, I want a reversible red and green coat that I can wear at Christmas. Did you notice that thing?
Oh my God, yes. That wasn't even a coat. That was like a cape. It was,
it was like a cape with arms. It was so good.
Yes. A cape with arms. I have like the purple dress written down really big, and then I wrote the silver dress. Take the coat off, and that's what I think I really love about, especially her costumes, is that they were so layered, and it was like time to where you could really see the different, you know what I mean? So like she comes in that first one, and she's got that like blazery type. It's not a blazer, but that's kind of essentially what it was. And she left that on for a long time. And then she takes off and she's got that like beautiful tailored white and the pencil skirt. And then, with the Christmas outfit, it's like she's got this cape wrap, whatever thing on. And then she like lets that down and then you see it. And then it's like this beautiful silver dress when she just takes it off. And then like the last scene, she's got that like black and white thing, and it's got this like green lining, like this very bright, almost lime green lining that you only see picking. Oh my God. Oh, the costumes are so good. So good.
The costumes.
And here's my question about the costumes in this movie.
Yes.
We have become a much more efficient, like we have all this technology to make our lives easier and free up time.
Sure.
And yet we are so much more like sloppy compared to what and I include myself in this, like sloppy dressing, sloppy eating. Like think about how much time and effort went into the putting up that meal, like, oh, here's this coffee and this pot and this, and I mean, and like the clothing and the, oh my God. Like, I'm not saying I want to wear girdles and whatever, but
I mean, the reason it doesn't happen is because people don't do it. If you want that to come back, do it. And then other
uh,
people will be like, oh, yeah, I like all that. And then they'll do it.
it's just
But
interesting that,
most of
like,
us aren't going to be like, yeah, I want to go put on all that clothing. Like, no, thanks.
no, I know, I know, I know. It's just very interesting that
It is. It is.
with when we had less time, whatever.
Yes. Well, they probably didn't have television. So they had,
In 1957,
I mean, probably not everyone had television in 1950.
well, there were like three stations.
And so, like, what
What
were
do you
they
mean
going
they
to do?
didn't have
Like,
television? They were working at a television studio, Heather.
well, they probably did it. The page boy, maybe he didn't have a television. But I'm just saying, like, they didn't have all these distractions to fill their time. So they had to think up stuff to fill their time, like that John Mulaney joke. So, it was like, oh, yeah, I'm going to put on 15 layers of clothes.
Layers of clothing and gloves.
That's going to take a while. That's going to take some time. Like, I'm going to make a 4-course meal every meal I eat. Like, that's going to take up some more time. Let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. I wondered, since you're the queen of nostalgia, if you appreciated Katharine Hepburn saying the old-fashioned kind are best in reference to the tree.
Traditional trees are the best trees. I did appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another question about things that have changed.
Yeah.
I miss the days when you could drink at work.
That is still a thing that people do in parts of corporate America and in not America.
Oh, and I'm sorry. Okay, but before we get away from the Christmas part,
yeah,
are they actually saying dunder instead of donner?
They're saying donder.
Donder, and that's
Yes.
what it is.
I guess so, or it was in 1957. It did feel like a Berenstain Bears thing where I was like, were we wrong the whole time?
What?
The Berenstain, the Mandela effect. Never mind. It doesn't matter.
Have we been saying Berenstain Bears the wrong?
I was saying Berenstain. I thought it was Berenstain. It's not. It's Berenstain.
It's not Berenstein.
No, it's AIN.
No, it isn't. There's an E.
You're being hit by the Mandela effect. Why don't you go look at your son's?
Is that where I think I see an E because I see it as an E in my head or something?
Correct. Yes. Yes, it's misremembering something.
Oh, shit. Damn.
So yeah, Donder Donner.
I was like, Dunder? What is Dunder?
And I'm not done with the Christmas scene. For a
I'm
while.
sorry. Oh, okay. It was a long scene.
It was. The bongos were there. It was great. I was like, Mad Men wasn't too far off, apparently.
I really can't. I was thinking about Mad Men a couple of times. Drunk Katharine Hepburn is delightful.
Yes, when they were scooting their chairs forward, when they kept doing like a little scoot and then a little scoot and then a little scoot, that was really cute. I like that a lot. I love the little moment, that little line of "I bet you write beautiful letters," where you kind of tell he's falling for her.
It's usually been my experience. Something. It's usually been my experience.
I like how they respond to everything with "fine." I appreciate that very much. Like, not okay, just fine. I'm gonna go over here. Fine.
Darling.
When they wheel the piano in that said "Do not remove from studio," whatever.
Jay, yeah.
I wrote, "Oh Lord, they have a wine jug," and then they replaced the water cooler with the wine jug.
And old lady Steely was like, "I help myself, thank you."
Right. Little old lady wasn't gonna miss out on the Christmas party. She was there. That was so good.
Also, who's cleaning up all this champagne, and why don't they know how to open a champagne bottle?
They were all very bad at opening champagne bottles.
Terribly bad at opening champagne bottles. I mean, I guess it's nice to know Katharine Hepburn was bad at something. But like, I'm like, who's cleaning all this fucking champagne up? Like, god damn it. Like, there's
Mm,
nothing left in the. No wonder you keep emptying the bottle. Half of it's on the ground.
that's right. Quit shaking them up. There was this thing that the actors did, they were all really good at doing
Hmm.
that made it
Acting.
seem, yes, they were acting and that part was good. They have this thing about doing business. So when they're talking to each other, like if you think about Katharine Hepburn on the roof, right? She's like eating her sandwich and she's doing different things. And if you watch the way people interact in TV and films now,
Uh,
most of the time they act like they're actually listening to each other, which is very unrealistic because 90% of the time when someone's talking to us, we are doing or thinking about something else. And so I really appreciated that they all seem to want to make this seem realistic, except for the part where she was, in love with her boss for 7 years, which was just silly. But yeah, like,
yes, but also realistic.
okay,
Just because you don't agree with it or don't like it doesn't mean it wasn't realistic and it's not
she's
still.
so smart. Like, so smart.
You are very smart.
I'm sorry, am I in love with someone for 7 years? Am I what?
No, but you had made choices in your past
Seven
about people.
years.
Well, no, but still.
Uh-huh. I also didn't like the part when he asked her to marry him and she was like, what about our jobs in my apartment? And he was like, people don't talk about things like that when they're in love and getting married. And I was like, what?
No,
You
yeah.
better be talking about that.
Like he's like, I'm your boss. I hereby transfer you to the West Coast to take care of me. Fuck you.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're getting mad at me for being mad at her.
Yeah, if anyone ever wanted to be like, what's gaslighting? Go watch that scene. Because that whole scene, I mean, I
Yeah.
guess you have to watch the rest of the movie to really get it. But yes, if you
That's
need,
okay. It's not that long. It's
yeah,
104 minutes. You can totally do that.
uh,
I did
yeah,
I did not like the woman who came in, the computer engineer, and how patronizing she was to the other women. I did not enjoy that at all.
I
And then
didn't too. Yeah,
I did not feel bad for her when they drove her away in tears because she was
but
so
here's my thing,
patronizing to them.
she was, and this is what I want to talk about though. Like, it did make me want to talk about. So, like, at the end, I did feel a little bad for her, but she was very patronizing. Like, women fighting each other, like women being mean to each other when we need to just recognize the common enemy. Like, them
Right,
being mean to her, it's not her fault that the computer's there, right?
right.
Like, yeah, she's kind of being a. Can I say it?
What? You can say whatever you want. Oh no, don't say C
Say
next
that.
time.
Okay, okay. I'm just. That's why I asked. Whatever. So if you haven't figured out what I was gonna say by now, yeah, she was being real that. Yeah. But then like at the end and she's like, oh but y'all are so mean to me. And it just like reminds me that like so many times women fight each other instead of like fighting the patriarchy, I guess is what I'm saying. Like,
Yeah. Well,
yeah.
here's
And like
one
when in
thing though. I
school
will
when I
say
see like oh god.
no, go ahead. Because I was gonna
Like it frustrates me, like, and I know they're teenagers, so it's hard for them to understand it, but like when two girls fight at our school, it is always, always, and I mean physically fight, it
right.
is always over a boy. And
Well,
that is like,
90% of the women who are in prison are there because of a man. So,
yeah, I mean, it's such bullshit. Like, why are you literally ripping each other's hair out over this? Like, I can guarantee you that no one is, it's just like, and there's no repercussions
right.
for said male person. And I just like I wish that I could teach a class on hating men and stop fighting and beating each other up.
Maybe show them desk set and show them what happens when you waste your time, energy, affection, love, care on a fuckboy
Yeah.
who is boring.
Like here's the end of the day, all teenage boys are fuck boys.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much true. That's a good one. Good one, Ryan
And
David.
that's what I keep telling them. I'm like, there is not a single male in this school who is worth any of your time and attention. There's just not.
Yeah.
Like, it's not. Like, not romantically. Be friends with them, whatever.
They might grow into something, but
And I would say the same thing to the boys too. Like, none of these girls are worth it. Like,
well,
grow
they're
up.
not worth
Like,
any drama.
Oh,
That doesn't mean they're not worth anything.
I'm getting tired of the drama. But anyways,
The
okay,
double
you
standard.
like
I liked that the computer engineer was a woman because
yes.
the frontier of computer engineering was women. And then that all got hidden away. And then Hidden Figures came out. And finally, people are like, oh, yeah, let's use social media to tell the real story about computers, which is cool.
Hmm.
I do not think a woman who would have made it in computer engineering would have fallen apart like that. So
No.
I did not
No.
find that very genuine. I found it hard to
Yeah.
believe her falling apart, as I found it hard to believe that Katharine Hepburn's character would pine over that fuckboy. Also, for anyone who believes that that was Hamlet in code, that little tiny slip of paper that they held and were like,
It
this is
was
all
a
of Hamlet
stack.
in code. Like
It was
maybe
a couple
maybe
stacks of,
DNA. Do you know how code works? It's zeros and ones to replace every single letter.
but she said something about punch cards.
Yeah, they were holding a small stack of paper that had printed out and said this contains all of the like no, even the punch cards. It was all no. Um
Do I know how code works? No, I don't.
so the final scene is the pièce de résistance. It is what I remember from the film. It is kind of the point of the film from a
Yeah.
non-romantic. Of course, this is a romantic comedy, but in the end, the computer gets to work. Imagram, right? Isn't that what they call it? Electromagnetic memory, blah blah.
Immigram? No, it was like Amica or no, I can't remember either.
I think
But it wasn't
Imagram.
Immigram.
They called it Emmy.
Yeah.
And
America,
it did
Emmerich.
punch out the one little correct answer real fast, and so they were like, eek. But then garbage in, garbage out. If you don't type the correct thing into the computer spits out a whole bunch of garbage. And I really liked how they interlaced all of the different conversations and activities that were happening with the poem that Katharine Hepburn was reciting.
Oh my God,
As
yeah.
the
That was such
computer
a
was
great
printing
scene.
it out. It was like just this level of frenzy that was like controlled chaos that was very, very good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that really a lot. And I'm glad that she didn't marry fuckboy.
Okay. So I have to tell you a story. That's the
Okay.
final scene of this movie. Because, so in the end, they all get pink slipped, which
Oh,
they were
yes.
kind of expecting. So they open their paychecks and there's a pink piece of paper comes out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in our district, they tend to, if you're going to be pink slipped, and they call it pink slipped, it happens in like mid-April. They have to do it by April 15th. And so they did a round of pink slipping. And unfortunately, some people that I work with who were either first or second year teachers were pink slipped. And apparently, one of our teachers didn't realize, one, because the conversation didn't get delivered well because of our leadership's communication problems, didn't realize she had been pink slipped because she was not actually given a pink piece of paper.
Oh, no.
And she's our business teacher.
Oh.
So I feel bad, but I was like, oh, okay, I guess we should probably start calling this something else because I don't think people actually get a pink piece of paper anymore. But we still
right.
call it that. Yeah, I mean, no one gets paper anymore, anyways.
Right, yeah. It's like you got some process efficiencies all over the place here, y'all. Like,
oh Jesus God! But yeah, I was like, yeah. So she was like, I didn't realize I was being pink slipped, and I guess she thought like if she was going to be pink slipped, she would still get a pink piece of paper. And now I want to look up like why it's called pink slipping. Like, why were you given pink slip paper?
But the cute thing about the movie is everybody in the whole network got
even Spencer Tracy and the president of the company
and
the little old lady.
The little old lady.
It's like, I'm not even on the payroll.
She tore it up. So yes, so the computer comes in and messes things up, but in the end, all's well that ends well. They keep the people and the computers and keep moving forward, which is what happened. So it's interesting to watch this at kind of this new peak of AI where, they're saying millions of people are going to lose jobs because of AI. And that kind of thing where it's like, okay,
Yeah, it was really interesting to
interesting.
see like people dealing because like the last company I worked for, they had efficiency experts come in.
Hmm.
So it's like we're still not efficient.
Well, I mean, it's like anything else. If you're not
Yeah,
continually fine tuning it, you're going to lag. I mean, that's
that's true.
just a fact.
But why? I want to know why was a pink slip pink? If only there was a phone number I could call and ask why were pink, like why pink?
Uh-huh.
Why not red? You'd think it would be red. If you had to guess, what is your explanation for why the piece of paper that they gave you to fire you were pink?
No idea.
Make something up.
No.
I think it's because it originated with firing people who were communists or were suspected communists.
That- no, it would have been red, not pink.
Oh, well, what were the pinkos?
When they say commie pinkos,
Yeah.
I I don't know if that's also like a homosexual slur or if it's like uh, I don't know. I mean, pink
So many
triangle.
questions. Yeah, oh, that's true. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't really understand how that level of racism works. Thank God. Don't want to understand it.
Okay, listeners, please, if someone can tell us why
I mean, we
the
can just
firing
Google
slips were
it. Why are
pink.
you
I
asking?
just tried to Google it and I couldn't find it.
Did you look on Wikipedia?
No, I just Googled. Maybe I didn't Google the right words.
Her MREC is
Okay,
failing her,
but
y'all.
sure.
She's really
Why
struggling.
were
Please don't
pink
quit
slip?
in tears.
You've been so mean to me. Hello. Why were pink slips pink? Where does the term pink slip? This is mental floss, and I understand where the term originated. I want to know why the original piece of paper was pink. Apparently, it's a mystery. You're obviously done with me,
I love you very much.
but
And anything else to say about desk set?
no, obviously. It was great. It was delightful. It was nice to. I mean, it got a little boring, but I don't know. I was tired. I was a little hungover this morning, so.
Okay. It didn't feel as long to me as when we would watch it when we were kids. I think we just, because we didn't
Yeah.
really, we watched some old stuff, but we mostly watched contemporary stuff. So it would have been, the pacing would have
Yeah.
been a little bit slower.
Of course, when I was a kid, I thought the Thriller video was a movie.
Well, it was. It's like a featurette. It's a really, really, really long music video.
So long.
It goes, it do go on.
It has a whole plot. So,
I would like for every movie ever to just have a secret old lady wandering around doing stuff and you don't find out why until like partway through the movie. I think every movie would be improved by that.
yeah, I love it. I
Everything.
just like how she just threw shit at Spencer Tracy. She's like, here's this fucking paper. God, checking out this book. It doesn't say anything. And like, here's your fucking pink slip. Like, doesn't say anything.
She was great.
Like, fuck you, I was hot once.
She has like hot girl energy forever. Like she was a
Yeah,
hot
oh
girl
yeah.
at one point, so she's a hot girl forever. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Like
oh, nice.
old lady hot girl. I love Katharine Hepburn. Oh, she looks different. She changed her hair. Like zing.
So many good little zingers. There were way
So
too
many
many to cover.
zings.
I would just
So
say if
many
you've
zings.
not seen Dusk Set and you like romantic comedies, give it a shot. It's only
And
104
witty
minutes.
dialogue.
Maybe
Yeah.
watch it at Christmas. Why not? There's
It's
a
an
huge
official Christmas movie now.
Yeah, there's a huge Christmas set piece in it. It counts. Yeah.
Apparently not by my rationale though. So
Oh, okay. Well,
also
sort
we have
yourself
too
out.
many Christmas movies. We can't have another Christmas movie. We never even have time to watch the ones we have on our list now. Like our Christmas activity list is like fucking Elf reading off his list of shit to do. Like
Let's just
then we're gonna open presents for 5 hours.
we can't do that anymore because your child doesn't have the attention span.
Well, we used to do it when Dad didn't have the attention span.
Yeah, so
Well, we could try again this year. He'll be older.
Dad would just go away. He wouldn't be disruptive.
Sure. I
Thank
love
you.
you.
I was thinking if we ever get to have merch, because we have enough followers to have merch,
Oh, what's the number for that?
a lot. We should copy
It's not a
we should
number.
copy My Favorite Murder and just have mugs that say I love you, and then when you tip it up on the bottom it says but.
Oh my God, yes. I want one now for my classroom because I drink coffee out of a mug every damn day.
I was like, oh, we
Oh,
super
it'll
heavy
be like
props to My Favorite
super
Murder.
funny. Oh my God, that's
Definitely
great.
gonna
It'll be
do
like when I put my noise canceling headphones on while they're talking to me.
that. Talking at you.
Yeah, when they're talking at me, then I can just have my mug and take a giant and be all like mom, and then just tip it up and look them dead in the eye. Yes. Okay. Someone needs to buy us one of those machines that you can make shit with that, so I can make this mug.
If everybody wants an I Love You But mug, please tell your friends about the I Love You But podcast.
Yes.
Tell them anyway. And also, wherever you're listening, be sure to rate, review, and follow I Love You But. We do appreciate you listening. We're so glad you're here. Next week, we are going to discuss Peggy Sue Got Married, another romantic comedy with some time travel. So we'll see how that goes. What made you laugh? What made you cringe? What did we forget? And what should we talk about in future episodes? We have some ideas, y'all, for bonuses along the lines of second watch for things that everybody else loved. We did not love, so we only watched it once, but maybe we'll give it a second chance. And then also first watch for things that we never saw, but everybody thinks we should have seen. So we'll see what we can do. In the meantime, we have hundreds of topics to keep us going for a while. So let us know. Find us on Instagram at I Love You But Pod, or on Twitter at I Love You Pod, or email us directly at I Love You But Pod at gmail.com. Listener email and comments may turn up in future episodes. Thanks again.
Have we gotten any emails yet?
No. I'm Heather.
And I'm Ryan. And we sent you lots and lots and lots of conditional love.